Hello everyone, I am Professor Shivchilesh Guddodgi. Welcome you to the lecture series on database management system. So we're discussing the module number 2 and the lecture number 16. So in today's videos we are going to discuss about the binary relationship operations. In that mainly we are going to discuss about the join operation and the division operation. So after this lecture, the student will have a better understanding of join and the division, which are binary operations, will have a better understanding. Now, in the previous video, we have discussed about the unary relationship operations that are there on a set theory by comparing things. So after that, we have also discussed about the relational algebra operations from the set theory. In unary, we have discussed about the select, project, and the rename operator. And in the case of set operations, we have discussed about the union operation, intersection operation, set difference operation, and the Cartesian product. As you already discussed, to perform the either the union, intersection, or the set difference operation, so the two sets should be the type compatible or the union compatible. So what is meant by the type compatible? So two sets are said to be the type compatible if number of columns in one table should be equal to the number of columns in the second table. That means if relation R is there and the relation S is there, so the number of columns in a relation S should be is equal to the number of columns in a relation S. Then the second condition should be the so the corresponding columns from the both the table should have the same possible sets of domain values. So that means if the column 1 is of integer in the relation R and in the column 1 of the relation R, S should also be the integer. That means so the column 1 of the R and the column S of the column S from the table S should have the same domain of values. Then we say that both the sets are type compatible or union compatible. Then after that only you can perform the union operation or intersection, or you can perform the set difference. Remember, for the Cartesian product it is not necessary to check the type compatible, only for the union, intersection, and the set difference. So there is a need to check the type compatible. Now, so after performing the union operation, the resultant table will have the all the tuples from the relation R and all the tuples from the relation S will be included and the duplicates will be eliminated. So as you know that, so the sets will not have the duplicates. So here in this case also, if there is a one tuple in a relation S, the same tuple is also there in a relation S, then means so that instead of keeping the two tuples, we are going to keep only one. Another one is the duplicate, we are going to remove it. Now, in the case of intersection operation, which is represented as R intersection S, so in the case of intersection, we are going to keep the only tuples which are common in the relation R as well as in the relation S. So those tuples which are matching in the relation R as well as S will be kept in the resultant relation. Now, in the case of a set difference, in the case of set difference, we are going to keep the tuples which are there only unique to the relation R. If it is a R minus S, then we are going to have the tuples which are there only in a R, and we are going to remove the tuples which are there in both R as well as in S. So only the tuples which are only unique to the R are kept in the resultant table. Remember, union and intersections are both commutative as well as associative, whereas the set difference is not commutative. This is the property you should remember. Then after that, we have discussed about the Cartesian product. So that means whenever you want to relate the tables, then we will go for the Cartesian product. Consider that if the relation R has the m columns and the relation S has the n columns, then the resultant table will have m plus n columns. For example, if the relation R has the 5 columns and the relation S has the 4 columns, then the resultant table will have the number of columns will be equals to m plus n. Here it will be equals to 5 plus 4, which will be equals to totally 9. And the number of tuples, if the relation R if the relation R has the if the relation R has the four tuples, and if the relation S is the having the three tuples, so the number of tuples in the resultant table it will be 4 into 3. So we are going to get totally 12 possible tuples are possible in the case of Cartesian product. And for the Cartesian product, there is no need to check the type compatibility. Now let's move on to the binary relationship operation, that is a join. So the join operation is denoted by this symbol. Okay. So the sequence of a Cartesian product followed by a select is used quite commonly to identify and select the related tuples from the relations. So now after performing the Cartesian product, so that is what we said that, so m into n, so the number of possible tuples. After that, we are going to perform the select operation. That means we are going to use the sigma notation. So this one we are quite normally we are going to do on two relations that are combined. So instead of performing the Cartesian product and then the select operation, we are going to use a special notation or special operation called the join. So which combines the sequences into a single operation. So what operations it combines? So join it combines the Cartesian product plus the select operation. It will be combined into form a single operation called as the join operation. So the join operation is very important for any relational database with more than one single relation, because it allows us to combine the related tuples from various tuples. So the join operation is usually used whenever there is more than one relation is involved. So why join is used? So the join is used to combine the related tuples from the both the tables or the tables that are involved in a relationship. So the general form of a join operation on two relation is, if one relation is name having the name as R, having the attribute as A1, A2, AN, and another relation as S having the attributes as B1, B2 as is. So we need to combine the relation R and the relation S. I need to perform the join operation. That's why I'm using the joining table notation. I need to specify also the joining condition. So joining condition means which attribute you are considering from the R as well as which attribute you are considering from the S to combine to join these relations R and the S. So that we call it as a join condition. So now as you can see that where R and S can be any relations that result from the general relational algebra expression. Now, example, consider that suppose we want to retrieve the name of the manager of each department. Okay. So if you want to retrieve the name, so name is obviously there. Each employee's name is obviously there in the employee table. That is the first name, middle initial, and the last name. And also, if you want to check whether he is a manager or not, I need to have the department table. So that means here there are two relations are involved. So one is the employee, another one is the department. So that's why you can see here, to get the manager's name, we need to combine each department tuple with the employee tuple whose SSN value matches the manager SSN in the department tuple. So how do you join? By using the join operation. So now here in this case, which are tables we are joining? We are joining the tables department and we are joining the table employee. These two tables are joined. So how we are joining? Using the joining operation or joining symbol. Then after that I need to specify the joining condition. Which joining condition I am using? I am using the joining condition as this one is the important one. Here in this case we are going to use the manager SSN is equals to SSN. So this one we call it as a join condition. So whatever the result is there now, I am storing it in a department manager. So this left side arrow marks indicates the equal to symbol. No, here the manager SSN is equals to SSN is the join condition. So what it do then? So that it will combines the each department record with the employee who manages the department. So this is what the purpose of using the join condition. So that is manager SSN is equals to SSN. The join condition can also be specified as department manager SSN. Means that means we are going to qualify the attribute with the table name. So where you are taking the manager SSN from which table? So the manager SSN is you are taken it from the table called department. So an SSN is taken from the table called the employee. So that means here we are just qualifying. You can use it directly. That is a manager SS equals to SSN. That is also fine. Or you can qualify. So the qualifying the attributes is necessary whenever the joining attributes are same in the both the tables. So after the join operation, so that means whenever you combine the department and the employee table you are joined, so you are going to get this table. So here you can see that you may be wondering how you got the D name, D number, manager, SSN at the first means. As you can see that, so the left hand side is the department. Okay, here in this case, as you can see that the department is on the left hand side. That means the first table is the department. So that's why all the attributes of the department will come first. Okay, that's why it is a D name, D number, manager assistant, manager start date, then department location. So that means all the attributes of the department will come first. Then after that only we are going to get the attributes of the employee. So what it indicates, whenever you are performing the join operation, the resultant table will have the first the attributes of the left hand side relation. That after that only it is going to have the attributes of the second table. Now, let us see the some of the properties of the join operation. So now consider there are two relations having the name as relation name as R and the S. So the attributes of R are A1, A2, AN, whereas the attributes of the relation S is the B1, B2, up to BM. So these table I am joining them using the join operator. So and I am specifying the join condition as R dot AI, which is equals to S dot BJ. So that means AI is the attribute of the relation R and the BJ is the attribute of the relation S. So the resultant relation Q with the degree having the N plus M. So how many attributes will be there in a resultant operation? As usual, like the Cartesian product, this one will also going to have the N plus M. So N is the number of columns present in a relation S and the M is the number of attributes or columns that are present in a relation S. So that is that the resultant table we are going to name it as Q, having the attributes as A1, A2, up to AN and the B1, B2 up to BM in that order only. So that's why you can see that A is the on the left hand side. That is the first table. So that's why we are going to have the attributes A1, A2 up to AN on the first in the resultant table. So those are the attributes that will appear first. Now the resulting relation state has one tuple for each combination of tuple, that is a R from S and the S from S. That means we are taking one tuple or a relation state. So that is a lowercase r from the capital R and the S from the capital S. Now, but only if they have satisfy the join condition as the R of AI is equals to S of BJ. So then only you are going to include that tuple in a resultant table. Hence, if R has the NR tuples and S has the NS tuples, then the join result will have generally will have the less than or equals to the NR into NS tuples. Now you can understood the difference between the Cartesian product as well as in the case of join. So in the case of Cartesian, the number of tuples will always be equals to NR into NS. Whereas in the case of a join, always the number of tuples will always be less than the NR into NS in the resultant table. So why? This is because the only we are going to have the related tuples, so that will appear in the result. Now we'll see the some more properties of a join. So in a join, okay, remember. So usually the joins are divided into two types mainly in a broader category. One is the inner join, second one is the outer join. Okay. So the inner joins are the joins that we are discussing here. So these joints are normally divided into two types. One is the theta joint and second one is the natural joint. So these are the two types of inner joint. So now let us see regarding the theta joint. So the general case of a joint operation is called as the theta joint. So the theta joint is represented as R, the joint symbol, and the S. So till now whatever we have discussed, no, so these are all the theta joint only. So the joining condition here we call it as the theta. So theta can be of any relational Boolean expression on the attributes of R and S. For example, so R dot AI is less than S dot BJ and R dot AK is equals to S dot BI, or R dot AP less than S dot BQ. So these are the any Boolean expression you can be using it. So the most joint conditions involve one or more equality conditions which are and with the ANDed together. For example, you can see here. So R dot AI is equals to S dot BJ, which is ANDed with R dot AK, which is equals to S dot BA, and R dot AP is equals to S dot BQ. So if there are many equality conditions will be there. So this equality condition, what we are going to do? We are going to AND them. Now in that the theta joint, whatever we have discussed, no, this one we are going to call it as a equijoint. So that means if we are only using the equals to operator. So the most common use of join involves a join conditions with a equality comparisons only. So in the previous example, as you can see that we may be using the less than symbol, greater than symbol, or equals to symbol, and or also. But if you are using only the equality comparisons, so then that kind of joints we are going to call it as an equijoint. So such a joint where only comparison operator used, that is a equals to symbol is used. So those types of joint we are going to call it as an equijoint. So in the result of an equijoint, we are going to always have one or more pair of attributes whose name need not be the identical, but they have the identical values in every tuple. Okay. So if you are joining the two tables, obviously the two tables will be joined if there are common, if there are some identical values. But the name of the columns of the joining tables need not be same. It can be same, but it cannot be same also. But there will be the identical values in the resultant table. There will be two columns. So join seen in the previous examples are all of the equijoin. Now after the equijoin, so we are seeing, let us seeing the second variation of the joint that we are going to discuss is the natural joint. So the natural joint is the another variation of the joint operation. We are going to call it as a natural joint. So the natural joint we are going to denote it by using the asterisk. So that we are going to use the star mark. So this was created to get rid of the second. So that is why we are going to call it as superfluous attribute in an equijoint. So as we discussed in the case of equijoint, so there will be two columns having the same values, but the column name can be different. So instead of keeping the two columns, we are going to keep only one column. So that means we are getting rid of, we are eliminating the, so that extra column. So because one of the each pair of attributes with the identical values is a superfluous. So the standard definition of natural joint requires that so the two joint attributes or each pair of corresponding joint attributes should have the same name in the both the relations. That means whenever you want to perform the natural join on the two relations, for example R natural join with the S, then the relation name in the joining attribute in the relation R should be same as the in the case of relation S only. Then only you can perform the natural join. So if there is a no same name, then what you can do? We have to perform the First we need to perform the renaming operation first, then after that you can perform the natural join. Now let us see one example. To apply the natural join on the D number attributes of the department and the department location, it is sufficient to write department natural join with the department location, because so the department location is same in attribute name is same in both the department as well as the department locations. So the only one attribute is same, that is a D number is same is in department as well as the department location. So what it means, an implicit join condition is created based on this attribute. So that is a department dot D number is equals to department number, department locations dot D number. So need to specify the any join condition and all here. Okay, and we are using the join natural join. So it will directly takes, so whatever the same attribute is there no in relation R and the S, it will take and it will join the tables. For example, if there is a relation R having the attributes as ABCD and there is a one more relation having the attributes as the CDE. So these two tables are combined having the attributes, either you can use the C or you can use the D, okay, because having the same columns here. So that's why you can see that the implicit join condition includes each pair of attributes with the same name, and we are going to perform the AND operation. That means R dot C is equals to S dot C and R dot D is equals to S dot D. So the resultant table will only going to have the 5 columns that are unique in both result in the relation R as well as in the relation S. So that's why you can see that we have kept A, B, C, D, E. So the CD is already there in a relation R, that's why I have not included it from the relation S, but E is not there, so that's why we have included that. Now you can see here. So whenever you perform the project department, that means whenever you combine the project and the department, so the project and the department, I think they have the common as the department number. So they have kept it as the hey, project number. So they have combined. So P number is the same attribute now. So same here is the department natural join with the department location. As we said that the department number is the same attribute that is present in both department as well as in the department location. It is combined. Now after that, let us see regarding the complete set of relational operations. The set of operations, that is including select, which is denoted as a sigma, project, which is denoted as pi. So the union operation, difference operation, rename operation, which is represented as row, and the Cartesian product represented as the cross mark, is called a complete set because any other relational algebra expression can be expressed by combination of these 5 operations. For example, if I want to represent the R intersection S, which can be represented as R union S, set difference within a bracket R minus S union S minus R, or R join on the S can be represented by the, first we are going to perform the cross product of the, that is a Cartesian product of the relation R and the S, and finally we are going to apply the selection operation. So that's why the select, project, rename, union, difference is the Cartesian, we are going to call it as the complete set of relational operation. Now we are going to see the second binary relational operation, that is a division. So the division operations is applied on the two relations. So that's why, so whenever you perform the division operation, you require the, so the numerator as well as the denominator. Same way, whenever you perform the division operation in the case of relations, you also require the two tables. Okay, so here in this case, if I relation R of Z divided by the S of X, where X should be the subset of Z. So that means the X should have the attributes from the Z only. So if the Z having the attributes as A, B, C, D, E, so the X should have only the subset of values from the A, B, C, D, E only. Other than that, it can't take any other values. Then only you can perform the division. So that's why we can call it as Y is equals to the Z minus X. So that is why let Y be the set of attributes of R that are not the attributes of S. The result of the division is the relation T of Y that includes the tuple T. If tuples TR appear in a R with a tuple TR of Y is equals to T and with TR of X is equals to TS for every tuple TS in S. For a tuple T to appear in the result T of the division operation, so the value in T must appear in a R in a combination with every tuple in S. So let us see with an example. Okay. Now as you can see here, so the division operation, let us divide the SSNP numbers by the Smith numbers. Okay. So these are the SSNP numbers, these are the values, and these are the SSNP numbers. As you can see that this is like something like writing like a SSNP numbers divided by the Smith P numbers. As I said, it should have the subset of values from the X only. So that's why here it is also P number, here it is also P number. Okay. So the P number gets cancels. What will be the resultant? Obviously, the resultant will be the ESSN. Obviously, the result will be the ESSN. Now let us see. So here in this case 1. So what is the value associated with the 1? So here it is a 1 and 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is written. So that's why you got the answer. Next 2 is there. So 2 is also there with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's why it is also there. Now you can take the 1, 2. So 1, 2 is also dividing the 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 3. So that's why we have kept this tuple also. Now you can see that 1, 2 has not appeared once again. So the 1, 2 has appeared only twice. So 1, 2 has appeared twice. So the only 2 tuples have appeared. Okay, let us see. There is a one more example. So this is the relation R and this is the relation S. We are performing the R divided by S. Okay, or you can also write it as R divided by S. So as you can see that S should have the subset of attributes. Here is also column A, here is also column A. So what will be the resultant column name in the resultant table? Obviously A gets cancelled, so you are going to get it as B. Okay. Now, so A1, A2, A3, you can check how many times A1, A2, A3 has appeared. Here A1, A2, A3 has appeared and it is divided the B1. So you have kept the B1 here. Now next one is A1, A2, A3. So A1, A2, A3 has appeared for the value of B4. So B4 has appeared. So this is how it should check the every possible values. So that's why, so the division operation is quite interesting. Okay. To recap of the algebra operations. So in the case of unary, we have discussed about the select operation. So the select will have the horizontal partition. So then after that, we have discussed about the project. So the project is denoted by the pi. We're going to have the vertical partition. So then after that, we have discussed about the rename operator, so which is represented as a row. So either you can rename the attributes or you can rename the relation or you can rename the both attribute as well as the relation. Then after that we have discussed about the union operation, intersection operation, then Cartesian product and in the set difference. To perform the union set difference and the intersection, so the two relations should be the type compatible. Then after that we have discussed about the join. So in the case of join, we have discussed about the theta join. So in the case of theta join, you can use the less than, greater than, equals to, and the or. But in the case of equijoin, you must and should only use the equality comparison. Then after that, we have discussed the natural join. So to perform the natural join, so there should be the one column name should be same in both relation R as well as in the S. If the column name is not same, then first you need to perform the rename operation. Then after that you have discussed about the division operation. So thank you.